on what we are going over for the month of January. Um, I want to charismatic destiny. There we are. Y'all, I gotta find it in here. Here we go. And I want to make sure we go over a couple of things before we jump into our curriculum for today. Um, First week, we were talking about living beyond your paycheck, right? Being able to monitor what you are doing, how you are doing it, what you're spending on, making sure that you make a list and set some of that stuff. And so, what we were supposed to do is create an expense report that includes fixed and variable expenses. A fixed expense would be like your mortgage. A variable expense would be like gas. It moves, right? But something that's fixed is like your mortgage. You know, every single month you're going to be paying $500, $600, $700, $800, however much that is, or your rent. And so you make a list of all of those things to see how much you're actually spending each month. And I think it was handed out so that we have that, so that we can see exactly where money is coming in and where money is going out. Why is it necessary to do that? Well, our theme scripture so far for the year has been Proverbs 29 and 18, where there's no vision, the people perish, right? And I think it's in Habakkuk, where he said, write the vision, make it plain, so that those who read it can run with it. And then he said, wait on it. It's going to tarry, but it'll come to pass. And part of the reason why it's important for us to write these things down is not just for us to remember, but so that we can have a track, so that we can see exactly what it is we're supposed to be doing, how we're supposed to be doing it, and go back to it. A lot of things and a lot of people we see preaching right now, you go on social media right now, TikTok, and there'll be somebody, I could bet my life on it, there's somebody preaching about giving and about money, about sow that seed and all of this stuff. And I believe in seed sowing. I'll sow in faith and I'll bless people and all that kind of stuff. But it's not many people who are teaching us how to practically be able to keep sowing. The Bible says he will make us the lender and not the borrower, right? That's what he's going to do. He said you will be the lender and not the borrower. Not you are the lender and not the borrower. And so there's a transformation that has to take place, meaning our thinking has to change, how we operate, how we give, how we save, all of those kinds of things. And so we started off the first week with understanding what your paycheck looks like. If your paycheck is hourly, that means that you know exactly how many hours you need to work in order to make a certain amount. And if you don't do that, that means that your income is going to be lacking. If you are salaried, somebody told me that they didn't give because they were on a fixed income. And my response to them was, well, if it's fixed, you know exactly how much you can give because you already know how much you're getting in. You know what your bills are. Stop playing with me. And I spoke to him like that because he was a leader and he just didn't, he wanted everybody to give to him, but he didn't want to give nothing. So, yeah. So that was huge. And then last week we talked about budgeting, budget, looking at things that you are spending your money on and stuff that you don't necessarily have to. One of my major things for my kids at least is I am not going to be the supplier of your addictions. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. No. I'll make sure we eat. I'll make sure the lights are on. But if your addiction is Diet Coke, that's your thing. You got water. You can drink some water. Oh, Basha. You can drink some water. If your addiction is cigarettes or weed or crack or meth or alcohol or McDonald's, it is not my job to supply you for your addiction. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And so, but part of that is because it doesn't fit into my budget. Somebody told me once, I'm never broke. I'm just not liquid. I was like, I like that. I like that. I'm not liquid. Because I'm never going to tell anybody, well, I ain't got no money. Well, I tell my kids all the time, I ain't got no money. You got $20, I ain't got no money. See, that's why. See, that's why I'm not liquid. I'm not liquid. I got credit cards, but they're not liquid. I can't access them right now. That's just the way it is. I think I have about 21, 22 credit cards at this point, and I'm not liquid. I just have them. I just have saints. Listen, don't go and get 22 credit cards if you do not have the ability to either pay them or not spend. I got the credit cards so that I can raise my credit limit, right? Which will in turn raise my credit score. So now, based on the credit, I only use like 2 of them, maybe 3. I only use those, and all the rest of them have a 0 balance. The majority of them have a 0 balance. But I try to make sure it's going to be paid off at least down to 30% before the next billing cycle, which is that next month. And so if you set yourself to be able to budget, knowing that I have a cart full of shoes from Nike that I want to order, and I cannot. You know why I cannot? Because it does not fit into my budget. Once you start understanding that and using the wisdom that God has given, instead of always going to just spend the money, my mama used to always tell me, or my daddy used to always tell me, that money burning a hole in your pocket. I never understood that until I got some real money and was like, ooh, I gotta spend this money. Like, I needed to. It literally was burning a hole in my pocket. I had to get rid of it. Part of that, though, is because sometimes when you have people who are given money, who ain't never had money, they don't know what to do with it. What they end up doing is they're going to buy. I saw somebody sent a thing on Instagram, and this guy in Detroit, he won the lottery for, I think it was like $35,000. Which is great, $35,000. He got the $35,000. He gave $5,000 out to his family and his friends, and then he bought a $30,000 necklace. Yep, diamonds and all that stuff. $30,000 necklace. He went to Coney Island. It got snatched. Go. No, right off his neck. We're talking about budgeting. We're talking about how we have to be smart and use the wisdom that God has given us in order to be able to budget. And if we do not draw the boundaries for ourselves to be able to say, I cannot do this or I should not do that because I'm not liquid, or it doesn't fit for the vision or the plan that I have for my life, that's one of the things we probably need to imagine too and set up for ourselves. What is the plan? What am I trying to do? Am I trying to pay off credit cards? Am I trying to purchase a house? Okay, that then becomes the goal. And now I don't have to throw off restraint because now I have vision. My vision is to get this stuff accomplished, and I can get it done if I stick to my budget. Everybody say budget. So those of you who have finished your expense report, good job. And so this week we're going to be talking about save, store all valuable earnings. And I'm sure Sister Alicia has some really, really incredible information that she's going to give us. I know, don't you love it? You got to go back and read the stuff that you wrote so that you can be like, oh, yeah, that's right. That's okay. I remember this. So that we can have this information. And honestly, if you read the lesson and follow the instructions, I'm telling you, you'll come out financially forward instead of always going behind. You just stick to what is being taught so that you can see it happening. The Bible declares to us that he is a rewarder of those who are diligent, not just doing it. I saved this week, and so I'm going to just keep going. I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to move out the way. So I have started doing something. We were supposed to do it last year. We're going to do it this year. We started off doing it when we first took over, and we had to get the roof fixed, and we called it Raise the Roof. And what it is, and I know you've seen it on TikTok or on social media where they have the money-saving envelopes. And so before they even did that, we did that. FYI, saints. And all you do is to take 100 envelopes and you put from $1 to $100 on the envelope. And so every time you get paid or whenever you get some money, you take the $1 envelope, you just pull one of the envelopes out and you put that amount in an envelope and you put it aside. And at the end of a year or whatever, then you have over $5,000. So what I've been doing is I started off with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'll put it in savings. And then I'll do 20 or 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And so it's supposed to be by the end of 3 to, depending on if I spend any of that savings, which I did. I didn't replace it. I didn't replace it. I'm supposed to replace it because I needed to move it because, the pipes burst in the kitchen. Well, that's a whole other thing. But if I was to replace it, then within 3 months, I would have already saved because I get paid every other week, but I get paid twice every other week. Right. So each one of those, I can take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And so within 6 months, I could save $10,000. Yeah. If I budget. I'm not good at the whole budgeting. I'm still working on it. I'm good at spending. I look for coupons. I follow the stuff on TikTok. I clip. I get the sales stuff. I'm still working on the budgeting. I am. Y'all pray my strength. He's still doing the work in me. Let's give it up for our teacher.
Oh, good evening, everybody. I ain't trying to embarrass you. I'm just saying. Okay, so this week we are talking about saving. So the first week was, breaking the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck. The second week was budgeting, and in that we created budgets, right? And also, what else did we create? Because I want to see if y'all really reading a lesson or y'all just coming to Bible study. You ain't read. I know you didn't. An emergency plan. Emergency plan. Right, putting things up for a rainy day. So in writing my lesson, I was doing some research because I like the research. Um, that over 40% of people, Americans, don't have access to $400. Yeah, that's real tired. That ain't tired. That's tired. Okay. Um, and that's the problem because how often do we have emergencies? Quite often. Your tire blow out. If we live in check to check and our tire blew out, more than likely when that tire blow out, it probably ain't blow out on check day, right? it probably it never happens that way. It probably blew out when your account say 12 cent or negative $5 or some change. That's typically when it happens. So save, store our valuable earnings. The first thing we want to do is create an emergency fund. And so a lot of people are like, well, I don't got the money to do that, and I don't want to do that, or not that I don't want to do it. So I take that back. A lot of people say they don't have the funds to do it, and I want to challenge that mind thoughts or that frame of thinking, because if we have the funds to go get McDonald's, or if we have the funds to get our favorite, I don't know, snack, or something that brings pleasure to us, we definitely have the funds to create an emergency fund. So, um, I say start small. You don't have to be like, oh, I need an emergency fund. Let me put $400 away. Most of us don't have it like that to put just $400 away to be your emergency fund. So what you do, my challenge is to everybody in this room, including myself as well as my husband, every time you get paid, depending on how much you get paid, put something up. I used to tell my sister, put $5 up out of each check. I promise you, you'll look up and you'll be like, dang, where $500 come from? Right, because it builds up. So the first thing we want to establish is an emergency fund. We no longer live in paycheck to paycheck, right? We've established a budget. In that budget, from last week, what did we learn to do? Create a what? Okay, but in that budget, what are you creating? Yeah, I'm one of them people who question because I want to know y'all listening. A tolerance, right? So if your check is 1,200, you don't have 1,200. You have $1,000, right? Because you have that tolerance that you created to have room for things that unexpectedly happen. So because we have that tolerance, we're gonna take that money from that tolerance and we're gonna put it away for an emergency fund. Now I'm not saying every penny. So if you have $1,200 and you say, okay, I'm working off $1,000, I say take at least $50 and put it away because unexpected things does happen or come up where you need to access that right away. So I think, for example, some of us who may have subscriptions to like what is the good one, Calendarly. I had a subscription for Calendarly, and y'all, I forgot all about it because you only pay it like once a year, right? So when it came, I said, "Hold up, what they think they do?" Going into my account, taking this money out, but in actuality, when I signed up for Calendarly, I gave them permission to do it. So that was just something that I forgot about, and it wasn't something that I included in my daily budget because I don't pay for it daily. I'm not thinking about it daily. So in that tolerance, I would suggest to take funds out for your emergency fund. So you got that $1,000. You got an extra $200 sitting there, tolerance just for unexpected things that may or may not come out of your account. Take 50 to 70. Heck, you can go up to $100 because really you don't need that large of a tolerance. I was just over exaggerating, and some of us can't afford to have that large of a tolerance. But whatever it is that your tolerance is, take a portion of that and set it aside for your emergency fund. Now, this is what I used to do for an emergency fund to discipline myself. I went to a bank that was 25 minutes from my house, y'all. I opened up a bank account, just the savings though. I did not open up a check-ins. I don't need to be the way my bank account set up. You take the savings. I ain't Kevin Hart. I don't need to be doing that. To self-discipline myself, I literally drove, was it 25 minutes, babe, or 30 minutes out from my house, found this awesome, amazing credit union, and I just opened up a savings, and I just put money in, put money in, put money in. So if I needed to get money out, who want to make that drive? Is that you gonna think about it like, man, that's far. Like, I don't know. I'm gonna have to wait until maybe it ain't that deep, or maybe it's not that important for me to have this item because that's a far drive. Y'all, doing things that way, we were able to save a nice chunk of change, because I didn't have direct access. I didn't have access to it right away. And what I did was, from my paycheck, some employers allow it. I know not all allow it. Instead of having all your money go into one account, have multiple accounts. So in our instance, I actually had 4 different accounts because I had joint account with my husband. Yes, I do believe in joint accounts with your spouse. Then we had our savings account, which was 25, 30 minutes away from the house that I hated driving to. And then each one of my kids had an account that I put money into. So I just had funds going out. So I don't even miss it because I don't even see it because it's going into that account. So I looked up and we had 10 times our emergency fund money, in that account because you forget about it out of sight, out of mind. So once we have created an emergency fund, the next thing we're gonna do is we ain't gonna mind your business. We gonna mind your money. A lot of people say mind your business. No, we gonna mind our money. So now that you've prioritized your debt, paid it off in full, or more than halfway down, and you have your emergency fund stashed, let's mind our money. So have anybody ever heard of the 72 rule? Never heard of it. So the 72 rule basically is a rule that where it's a math calculation basically that you use to determine how much of your money is making money and how much money you're making. That was a lot of money making that I said. So let me know if it's confusing. But basically what you do is this too, I wish Mother Walker was here because this will help you to decide which bank to go to invest your money in or which financial institution to go to invest your money in based off the interest rates that they're paying you. And you can determine how long it would take for that money to grow. So, what you do is you take 72 and you divide it by your interest rate. That result is the number of years it would take your money to double. Right. So for me, if I'm thinking about, we set goals, right? So let's just say you're already a homeowner and you want to buy investment properties, or you want to look into Airbnb, or you want to, I don't know, look into other ways to make money. Well, a good rule of thumb is to take the money that you have that you're already saving, because I don't believe in just money sitting. I believe our money should work for us. I don't think we should be working really hard for our money. I believe our money should be working really hard for us. Okay. I really, really do believe that. So, if let's just say kids, for example, right? If you have children and you want to set them up for success, what my husband and I, and I was, it's so funny. We started my son one of them what is it? The 29K plans. I can't remember it off the top of my head. The Michigan plans that you save for your children for college. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. I can't think of the exact name. As a matter of fact, I was looking at the mail today about it. We started when he was 2, and I'm in I'm in the office crying at the man like, I waited too late. I should have did this when he was born. And the man like, you girl, you good. Don't worry about it. I get people coming here, they kids 16, they talking about, yeah, I want to pay for my kid college education. Help me save. And he like, I be looking like, are you serious? So let's just take that for example. Most of us have children. You want to say, okay, well, I want my child to go to college free. I want to be able to pay for their education and they don't have to worry about student loans, at least undergrad. Now, if you go into grad, you on your own. That's my rule of thumb. I'm not paying for no grad school. By the time you graduate from college, if that's your path, because college ain't for everybody, and I don't believe in pushing that off on my children because they can be great entrepreneurs fresh out the gate. Or skills trade really, y'all, if I could do it over again, I would do skill trades. I'm not even gonna lie. But let's just say, for instance, I'm sending them off to college. So my daughter, I'll use her because she's younger. She's 6 years old. So I'm like, okay, I'm taking this $1,000 that I get, and I'm gonna go to, I don't know, get me a certificate, a deposit from somewhere. I don't know what's a good institution. To invest in, and they're telling me, and I don't have a calculator or my phone, so maybe somebody could do this for me. I want to invest in a certificate of deposit, and the interest is paying me. I want to be realistic with this because I ain't gonna get no 12%, y'all. We ain't seeing that. Let's just say is a 3.5% interest yearly. So if we take that $1,000 and we divide no, not the $1,000. We take that 3.5% and we're dividing it by 72. The result is the number of years it would take to double that $1,000. So what do you get, TA? Divide 72 by your interest rate. Okay. Times that by 100 though, and that should be, let's see. So about 5 years is going that $1,000 is gonna be 2,000 in 5 years, and y'all like, Alicia, that ain't a lot of money, and it's really not. You know, I'm not gonna say it is, but what's the alternative? Me saving that $1,000 in a regular savings account that bear interest of. Right. So it's something, and then guess what? After 5 years, guess what we can do with that $1,000? Reinvest it into something else that's going to make us more money. So when I say mind your money, that's what I'm speaking of in regards to minding your money. Let's track every single penny. What is our pennies doing for us? Like, I used to work at this job. I used to in college at Subway. And I go, it was a gas station. It was a Subway and got sat at a gas station. I worked at Subway. And every time I bought something, I'd be sitting there, and it'd say like, you're Arizona, 99 cents, when it used to be 99 cents. And I'll give them my dollar, You be like, okay, have a good day, and I'm still standing at the counter. Where's my penny? And he be like, Alicia, it's just a penny. And I said, pennies makes dollars. I need my penny. 99 more cents. I'll have a dollar. Are you crazy? You not about to keep my penny? It's not just a penny if you want to keep it. So, yeah. So, mine, every single penny of your money. Track it. Y'all, when I say I track, ask my husband, when I say I track every penny, that was how much? $5.25. Yes, I include the 25 cent. In fact, I round up. That's $6 to me, and that's where that tolerance is coming in at as well. So this week we know we're gonna create an emergency fund. Got that living off paycheck to paycheck out of the way. We're no longer there. We've budget and we've included a tolerance within our budget. Now we create an emergency fund just in case something unexpectedly happens, and we know it does because life be life. Then we're going to mind our money, okay? The extra money that we do have, let's take it and make it work for us. How can we make that money work for us? Now, I want to ask y'all a question. The next step, which probably should have been the first step, is investing in life insurance. Do you look at it as an expense or as an investment? 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 I think it's an investment too. I think you need a mic, brother.
I look at it as investment because it helps. You know, when something happens, your spouse will be taken care of, all the bills will be taken care of. So that's a good thing to have life insurance because, like I say, it's good to have because if something happened, you know, at least your spouse is taken care of. So I look at that as an investment.
Hey man, I would agree. But did you know you can use it before you die?
Right.
Yes. So
But I mean, you know, I try to just pay on it and not try to, you know, if I don't have to. If I don't have to, I'm not gonna do it. But if I have to, I will. But and my thing is, I just want to be taken care of if something happened, or my wife be taken care of if something happened to me. That's how I look at it. You know?
no, and I'm not saying that's a bad way to look at it, but I want to expand your horizon, your thinking on it, right? Because a lot of us do get life insurance and be like, oh, this is to, help protect my family in the event of something. Because we all gotta make cross that path one day. We think about our family, our kids, the bills, the mortgage, the cars, pay that off. Go into your grieving, or uh, just live comfortably. Money is the thing that we don't want our spouses to worry about, that we don't want our children to worry about. But may I suggest that we can also have life insurance and have it as an investment for ourselves, for us to enjoy with our family. So there are so many different policies, right? We all know that there's the term policy, which a lot of people do have. After 20 years, you can convert it into a whole life policy, or you can extend the term out. And then we have whole life policy, where you actually build money inside of the life insurance, right? So with every payment you're making, you're also building money into it. So let's just say, for example, you don't have an emergency stash, right? But you've been paying on your life insurance, and something happened and you have a whole life policy. Guess what? You can tap into that and take a loan out from your life insurance. And if something happens, your family is still covered. Yes.
Kind of in that vein, because a lot of people may not have life insurance because you usually have to go get it and sign up for it and different things like that. But since you said, you can go, you can. Some of the good things about it, you can go, you can borrow from it. It earns interest. You can borrow it, pay yourself back, and all of that good stuff. But another thing too that's good. So if anybody's in here working and your job offers a 401k, like you can borrow from that as well and pay yourself back. I had a guy at work, man. He was like, I was like, man, what happened to your car? You know what I'm saying? He been Uber. He said, yeah, man, my car in the shop is gonna cost like $5,000 to get his car out the shop. He's like, I ain't got the money to to do that. I said, well, what you gonna do? I said, man, you could borrow out of your 401k, just borrow from yourself and just pay it back. he faithful. He maxed his out every paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So you know, we hear if they gonna give us 3.5%.
Yep, they
you
gonna
know,
match
I'm a max mine out to get that match. So he maxed his. I'm like, man, just go. You ain't gotta withdraw it. Don't pull it out.
Yeah.
Cause you still want to earn, but just borrow from yourself. So you can go online, log into your account, do the terms. You can pick as long as you want. You can take 5 years to pay it back. You can take a year to pay it back. But you paying yourself back with interest. And he was like, man, I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say that just based on what you're talking about the life insurance, because a lot of people do think, you know, it's just that one aspect. We get life insurance to cover our cost after we die, to cover the funeral cost. But it's so much more than that. You know, the wealthy people, you know, they really are their own banks, and that's one of the ways they become their own bank. They use life insurance policies to pay for a lot of those investments that they use. They use them to buy cars, they do all type of stuff, you know. So yeah, so this is real good.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that too. 401k, because 401k is great to have. I would say even life insurance through your employer, although I also believe in having more outside of the employer, because if anything happens to that job, that life insurance is gone and your family is left in the dust.
Absolutely.
So I definitely agree with Brother TA on having a 401k if you can afford to even get you a Roth. Create your own investment as well. And there's so many different and if you're self-employed, there are still 401k plans called I think it's called betterment.com, where you can go on there and take advantage of creating your own 401k plan. So that is I'm glad you mentioned that. But what I also want to say about the life insurance, because I don't want anyone to misconstrue what I'm saying, you can get a loan from a whole life policy, but that's not the, how can I say this, because I want to be very careful. Are we recording? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. You can get a loan from your whole life insurance policy. However, I will say this: don't just willy-nilly take out a loan to buy a car. Do it for something that will appreciate, like a house. You know, if you're in investment or something, like if you in, even in that, depending on the policy and how much you have, evaluate if it's even smart to go that route. So if you got a $15,000 policy and it's a whole term policy, more than likely that cash value ain't building up as quickly as you think it is. So like, more than likely, let's just say you had a $15,000 policy. You had the policy for about 10 years. More than likely, you probably only got like $3,000 in cash value in that policy. So please don't misunderstand me when I say it is a good investment. It is needed. I'll say those two things. And you can use it to draw money out of it, but do it in absolute need, when it's absolutely necessary for you to do, and let that be your very last option. Now, the life insurance policies that I'm talking about, it's called a hybrid policy, where it have multiple coverages within one policy. Ask me how I know, because I got it. So what's included in this hybrid policy, and you can speak to your life insurance. If you don't have a life insurance agent, first off, I would surmise that the first thing you do is look into getting life insurance. If you don't, I think it's essential, and I think everyone should have. Okay, Mother, you have something to say? I know you gotta
Yes,
go.
because I am a life insurance agent, and so a lot of people don't have life insurance, and that's why I became a life insurance agent. So I won't be trying to gyp them. You know, I'll give them the best deal that I can so that they can have something. But I'm finding that a lot of people get
Yes.
it, and
lot of
then 3
beautiful
months
people.
later they cancel it.
Yeah.
You know, and I have been on this girl like, get insurance, and she got it. A month later, she didn't pay it, and then the next month, her baby died, and she had to go around to the churches asking for money.
Yeah.
When you could have had the life insurance. So when you get it, please keep it, number one. Now, I do term because we believe in a cheaper principle and then invest the rest. Again, a lot of us don't invest,
Right.
and that's not going to work. If you think just your job is going to get you where you need to
It is
go,
not.
when you're my age, you and no, don't even think that. So you need to invest some. You need to save some. Like our teachers say, get your best deal on your dollar.
Mm-hmm.
Save, save, save. I am a true believer.
Thank you so much, Mother, for mentioning that, because that's another thing. Get what you can afford initially. I'm not saying go ahead, get you a whole policy so you can build up the money and invest it off rip. If that's not in your budget, do not do it. But definitely have life insurance, regardless if you're making money directly in your pocket off it or not. It is still an investment, because it is an investment for your children. It is an investment for your spouse. It is an investment for anybody you leave behind that you take care of. So get what you can afford first. So first things first, get life insurance. It's an investment. And yes, it is an expense, like Mother said. So put that in your budget. Life insurance, it is essential to have. I always tell my husband, if we don't pay nothing else, we paying the life insurance. Because one thing's for sure and two for certain, we all got to cross that bridge. So, and the one thing I don't want you to do is have these little babies here and be looking like, now she handled the money and she handled all the bills. What am I supposed? She left me with nothing. Take care of yourself, take care of the kids, everything will be fine. See, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, like Mother said, do not count on your employer to just only have insurance through your employer. Because the moment you lay off or the moment you fire, you're done. That life insurance policy is done. It is not active anymore.
I don't have mine through the employer. I only have ours. Don't even offer, my job don't even offer 401k. So if I retire, then I'm just retired. They don't offer that. So mine, I work for McDonald's. So they don't have 401k.
Okay, so see me. So we can get you set up, even though your job doesn't offer.
Oh yeah, I know I
401k.
can get it. Yeah, I know I
But-
can go
right.
somewhere and get 401k.
Right, and you don't even
Yeah.
and start with a little bit, and guess
Right.
what?
I know.
It's-
Start with a little bit and build it up. Yeah.
Mhm.
But my life insurance, no, not through no employer. I'll pay that.
Pastor.
There is, y'all heard Mother is a life insurance agent. And so my previous job, I was working with people who have been infected or affected with HIV. And I tried to get a bunch of them and their partners, life insurance. And because of the medication they were taking, they were denied, even if they were not positive, because the medications that they were taking prevented them from getting infected. So it was an HIV medication. And so I had a fit. And so I emailed a couple of insurance agents, and I emailed the state. I went on a rampage. Last year, I didn't even realize it, but last year the laws changed. And so now when you apply for life insurance, it asks if there's an infection with HIV or lupus or diabetes or stuff, they ask specific questions about that so that you'll still be able to get it. Here's the thing, even if you can't get life insurance, you can get end of life insurance. Something that just kind of started popping up and becoming more popular, where it will take care of the funeral services. And it's fairly cheap. You wouldn't be able to borrow
It's very
against it,
cheap.
but it's supposed to take care of the funeral itself. Now, how your funeral goes and how much it costs is up to your family. But if you get a $30,000 end of life policy and you get cremated and have a little short service that costs $3,000, you leave. Listen, let the
said
state
300.
bury me. You
Y'all
get to
ain't no
leave
good.
that money for the rest of your family. The Bible says that a wise man leaves an inheritance to
Yes.
his children's
Yes,
children.
children's
And I
children.
know sometimes we consider the amount and think that, oh, it's going to cost too much. It does not cost too much.
It does not.
At the end, it's going to cost you way more than it will if you're paying $25 a month, because that's the bottom average. In addition to that, I have a lot of children and godchildren and spiritual children. Do you know you can get, based on the relationship, you can get end of life insurance for them? Because y'all know I got Eric covered, baby. I got him covered.
Listen, you better
Covered.
have your kids covered. Mine
I
covered.
get tired.
They should be covered. But I'm glad you did mention that, because there are some people, health issues does can be a hurdle to get over to getting insurance. But there are ways around it, such as end of life, or also known as burial insurance, where you get insurance specifically to be buried or to handle your final expenses.
And you can actually contact the funeral home that you want to get buried by and start paying it now. You don't have to wait until you die to start getting stuff done. You can actually, Bishop Episcopal did it, Pastor Upshaw did it. Pastor Upshaw paid for his and for Mother Upshaw's before he died, years before they died. Bishop did it too. Contacted the people, let them know this is what I want, this is how I want it, this is the casket, paid for it 10, 15 years before they died. Hello, you can't get it wrong if you pick it. So I thought about doing that, but I'm gonna be cremated, so God bless y'all. I'm not spending all that money to put me in the ground. I didn't live in a box. You ain't gonna bury me in no box. Sprinkle
I
me,
know
sprinkle
that's
me,
right.
sprinkle me.
I know. He said, "Sprinkle me, baby." Okay. It's like cremate me. Listen, I agree. Why waste all that money when it can go to my kids or grandkids or, God willing, great grandkids? Yes, yes, indeed. So I'm glad that he did bring that up in regards to, if number one, well, Mother was saying affordability. Because maybe you are in a place where your health isn't the best, or maybe you are in a place, because whole life policies are more expensive than term policies. So it is essential to get with a knowledgeable agent. Mother's licensed insurance agent who don't want to just line their pockets, who actually care about you, who actually care about your family, who will sit down, who will assess your needs, who will assess the current income that you're bringing in to determine what coverage is best for you. So, like, for example, when we got ours years ago, we looked at, well, what is our income? If one of us passes away, what is needed to sustain our household? What is needed to sustain you for a few years, if one of us make that transition without my income? Because most people are a two-income household. So you have to look at all those factors. Like, okay, what needs to be paid off? How much do we need to put away for the children? Or, what needs to be done in the event that one of us make this transition, for those of us who are living off a two-income household. And if maybe you're one person working, like you were saying, Brother Smith, okay, what do I need to make sure that my wife will be fine when I make my transition, that she's not struggling, or that she, doesn't have any issues when I'm away? Also, another thing you want to look at is, okay, now you've established how much coverage you need, how much money is taking care of the house. Okay, what realistically can I afford? Maybe you can afford a whole life policy where money is being invested into the policy for you to have to pay you out later on in life. That's fine. That's okay. Still look into getting that life insurance policy and budget that within your expense. Like, again, as I stated earlier, if nothing else get paid, that life insurance policy is going to get paid, because I need to have the reassurance that regardless if I'm here or not, my children and my husband and my spouse are going to be taken care of, and vice versa is how my husband feels as well. So that's definitely something you want to look into having, and something that you want to look into getting if you don't have it. And if you are in a space where maybe you can afford a little bit more than a term policy, go into getting a whole policy so that you can build money in your investments. And maybe you're in a space where you go a little higher than that. Maybe you can get you a hybrid policy. So one of the policies that I personally love is a hybrid policy, and a hybrid policy is a whole life policy combined with the term policy, combined with investments, right? So you want to get you a licensed, of course, insurance agent who know about that, who can get those policies if you are in a place to pay for something like that. And what it typically include is a permanent death benefit. It also includes, typically, depending on the company you go to and who's offering it to you, a long care rider and terminal illness rider. So again, it's not just about when you die. If you get sick, we all know with being sick comes what? Medical bills. And oftentimes, insurance does not cover all of it. Sometimes insurance covers none of it. So we definitely want to be set up in life to, when life happens, if life happens to us in that way, the very last thing we have to worry about is money. You already will be dealing with enough in a sense of sickness or illness in that point. And then you have your term death benefit that's also included in that policy. And then you have additional coverage or pay up benefits, and then it also buys you extra permanent death benefits. So like there literally is a policy, and unfortunately my guy does not sell in the state of Michigan that I had anymore. But the policy can actually pay you out. I'm talking like when you hit maybe 62, 65 years old, get to paying you every month up until you leave here. And guess what? That does not affect the actual life insurance policy that you have that'll pay out your family once you transition. So that's why I said, it's okay to think of self. As we talked about last week, self-care is important. And a part of that self-care is setting yourself up for success financially, even after retirement or even after you reach a certain age. You want to be able to enjoy life. I know I do. I want to be able to travel, plan, take vacations, and do stuff, and not just work to make sure, my kids are taken care of, and when I die, they good. I'm living now. I want to enjoy some of this stuff too, and I don't think that's selfish, and I don't think it's wrong. So we're gonna get to some of the questions. You don't have to answer it out loud if you don't want to, but one of the questions that I wanted you guys to ask yourself, or you guys to think about, or you guys to start implementing, is creating an emergency fund. If you have not created an emergency fund, I challenge us, everybody in this room and everyone who's watching, to save out of each check. I'm trying to think of a number that, let's just start with $10, right? We take $10, we go to McDonald's, we take $10, we buy Starbucks coffee, we take $10, and you said who? A 6-pack, yeah. I guess somebody take $6 and get them a 6-pack. $10, not $6. $10. See, he making me lose my mind. So let's just take $10 a week, and yes, I'll be asking. Not even if it's not a week, a pay period. I'm sorry, a pay period, because everybody pay period is different. And let's put it to, if you can, a separate bank account, because I know we got our envelopes, right? But then we hear our wonderful, awesome, amazing apostle, Pastor Ray, earlier say how he had his little saving envelopes and how he had dipped into it and never put it back. So what we're trying to do is discipline ourselves to not touch that money. So let's get us a separate account. Even if you like Alicia, look, I ain't about to go into no banking institution and do all of that. It's so many online accounts now, banks. I know Chime is one. I don't suggest Chime though, but it's so many banks now that allow you to actually open up an account online without having to actually go in. Yeah, just about all of them. And there are digital banks now where you don't have to, they don't have brick and mortar, so you can open up an account online. So I'm gonna do it with y'all, right? Because we starting from the bottom, going back up to the top again. Sometimes you go to the top, you come down, and you go back to the top. So let's create us an emergency fund where out of every pay period, we take $10 and we put it into a separate account. Now, if you can't do the account, get you a steel bank, okay, where you gotta literally get a chainsaw and saw that sucker open, and just put that money in there. But the only thing about the steel bank is once you reach your goal, what if an emergency happened? How many of us got chainsaws laying around to just open that bank? Not many of us. So that's why I suggest maybe creating a separate account, not at the same bank. So if you bank with Chase, don't go getting you no savings with Chase, because like Kevin Hart said, the way my bank account's set up, let me transfer. We don't want to transfer nothing. We literally want it. Let's make it difficult for us to touch that money. You literally want to be challenged. You literally want to think about that money and get like, oh God, like get an attitude, because you like, listen, I ain't about to go through all that just to touch this money. So I challenge us to save $10 out of each pay period. And notice I said pay period. I didn't even say week. And just put it up to start our emergency fund. Set you a goal. Let's set a goal. What, $1,000? Y'all think that's too much, or not enough? What y'all think? Yeah, so that's gonna take us all year to save. So maybe we should set it at 200. Okay, 200. Let's start with $200. Yeah, I'm like, that's gonna take us all year to save. So we'll start with $200, and yes, I'm gonna be asking because I'm nosy, and I care about y'all, and I care about me, and I care about us, and I want us to reach our goals. So let's start with $10 per pay period. Now you and Jesus know your pay period. Okay, you know when you get paid. I don't need to know all that information. I'm not that nosy, and it's not my business. But you be honest with yourself. You is trying to set yourself up for success, and the only way that will work is if you're honest with yourself. And then, okay, we running out of time here. We already talked about life insurance being an investment or an expense. We talked about that. I feel like this debt question was addressed in lessons a couple weeks ago or a week or so ago. So I don't know. We ain't gonna address that question. That's something you can do on your own. But I do want to challenge us to create an emergency fund of $200 per pay period. And every time we come in here, I will be asked. The goal is $200. That's our first goal. Okay, we setting more than one goal. Y'all know that, right? So when you hit the $200, you just don't stop. You continue to go. But the goal as a collective, as a group, so because we're gonna uplift each other. The goal collective as a group is to have an emergency fund. And maybe you already got one. It's okay. Maybe you have that emergency fund of $200 already. Let's set another one. The goal as a group is for us to collectively set an emergency fund for $200. And then once we hit that milestone, we'll set another milestone, and we'll set another milestone. And then eventually we'll get to a place where, come on, let's manage our money. Let's take this money and make more money. So that is the ultimate goal for us to do. And I know we are nearing the end. Is there any questions, concerns, comments, suggestions? You got a
Because
suggestion?
you only did the 4 lessons, right?
It's 5.
It's 5. So after the 5, you ain't. How we gonna be held accountable after the 5?
Because I'm an ass.
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure.
Do you hear me now? No.
I'll just make sure.
No,
I'm just making sure.
listen. Just because the lesson end does not mean the strategy has to
That's
end.
what I'm saying.
Right? Our goal is to be not just doing this 5 weeks that this lesson is going. So the goal is to continue, and those who are watching, get you an accountability partner, a sparring partner, somebody who's going to keep you accountable, and somebody you can keep accountable, because we are trying to set ourselves up for success. We're trying to set our babies up for success, right? We're trying to break generational cycles of living paycheck to paycheck. We're breaking generational cycles of not having an emergency fund. We gonna be wealthy, y'all. As I've said last week, I believe every single person in this room have the ability to be a millionaire, and we can do it. Pastor?
I do have an idea that I've always wanted to do. Instead of us just doing Like if we had different classes, we could have the men's class, we have the regular Bible study class, we can have the finance class. Yes, that's what I've always wanted to do. The issue is space, where and how. Remember, we used to have the men's class in the salon, so we might be able to go ahead as soon as she finished retiring. She's been retiring from that salon for the last 5 years, so we'll be able to take that and turn that into some classrooms, or over here, if Deacon Dexter can get this and turn it into some offices. So I'll just take it and knock this wall down. We can have different stuff. But here's my question. You ready? Actually, here's a better suggestion. What if we set it up so that those who want more financial education, they set appointments on Wednesday? As these lessons continue, they can meet with you personally for, blessing.
I just love my pastor.
I think
I
she's so
love
full
how
of
he
wisdom.
just
Isn't she full of wisdom?
volunteered.
And
I
it's
just
just like a
love
lot
how
of
he
good
just
stuff.
yeah, Alicia, you want to do this. You got to. I would love that, though. No, I seriously have a passion for helping people. Because I also do taxes, right? Because brother
Ooh,
said
girl.
something about taking that money out of your 401k. Don't withdraw it because it's taxable. But if you do it loan, it's not taxable, okay? And then, and I was
wish I would've
also a
did that.
mortgage underwriter for 10 years, 10
Should've
plus
told me that.
years. So, you said I should have told you that.
I already took it out.
I hope you paid taxes on it.
Yeah, I've had them take the taxes out.
Oh, great. Awesome. See, you already had it at the ball game, but some people don't.
Here's
So-
the other thing. Here's my question. What if I am married? Oh, Basha.
What's the question? What about you being married?
And my partner is not on the same page financially. I know, that's why I'm asking it. Financially setting goals as I am. How do I either get them on the same page, or how do I maneuver and manage around them so that we can still be accomplishable without upsetting my house?
First off,
Listen, that's a senior leadership question. God bless you. Y'all got it.
so I love how he asked that question and then dip out. And I know we out of time. We a minute over. But to answer that question, I would say, first off, have you and your partner sat down and had the money talk? That's number one. If you have and y'all still aren't agreeing, I would suggest seeing a financial advisor so that your partner can see the bigger picture of where your money stands. That's what I would suggest. Lisa's shaking her head like, girl, you have no idea. Yeah, and if even after that you do not still agree, I would suggest, the old people used to say, baby, you better have your own. So I would suggest, listen, setting it up to where, putting perimeters in place where your partner doesn't have access, okay, if they're not disciplined and they can't discipline themselves to touch it, okay, so you could set it up for rainy days, okay, because I've seen that where, one couple like, listen, we balling, the other couple like, not for real, and then that rainy day came, and then a couple came off that money, and they was like, where you get that from? I've been saving without you knowing that you don't have no access to it. So yeah, all right, now we gotta go. I'm gonna pray us out, and we're gonna collect for Bible study offering. Father, in the name of Jesus, oh God, thank you for the gathering of your people. Thank you, Lord, for wisdom and knowledge. God, I pray that you help us to be great financial stewards over our money so that we may be able to set ourselves up for success, set the next generation up for success, and teach others. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen. Good night.